Good morning. Apologize for the delay. These meetings are a little bit more of a production than they used to be in the COVID world, but we're very excited to have a really good group in person and a really good group online. So hybrid's working. We're going to go ahead and get started because I do have a couple of people who are needing to get moving this morning. We appreciate them taking their time out of their schedule, and all of you as well this morning to join us. But I want to jump right into it. This is the June meeting of the 100 Families Alliance. We do them on the first Fridays. And so first Friday in June, here we are at UAFS. And I'm sitting here, we've got our panel today talking about services for pregnant women in crisis and their partners. And the reason that we kind of wanted to highlight these services is because it's not something that people usually think of when they think 100 Families, right? Because these, a lot of the time we can work with women before the baby's born. We can work with families before the baby is born. And there's a really good reason for that. We're going to talk about that this morning, that we can start enrolling them in our services and work in collaboration with the organizations that are here this morning, because we know that pregnancy is really a critical stage for many of these services and supports to be implemented. So like I said, we'll just jump right into it. And we'll kind of do introductions as we go, but this is a bit of an informal discussion up here. And I'm going to start with you, Christy. If you would just introduce yourself and describe what your role is.
I'm Christy Robertson, and I'm the Executive Director for First Choice Pregnancy Center here in Fort Smith. You tell the services that we offer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So we offer, all of our services are free. We do ultrasounds, pregnancy tests, and we do STD testing and treatment. We have parenting classes, we have a men's ministry, and we do an abortion recovery.
And then along with that, if you would just kind of expand, I know you all have been around for a while in Fort Smith and serving the area. So it's a medical, right? First Choice Medical.
We are a medical clinic, yes.
Mm-hmm. And so from a medical standpoint, why is it so important to begin holistic care for these individuals prior to birth?
Well, we want to treat them, not just meet their physical needs, but we want to meet their spiritual needs, their mental needs. We don't always have, abortion-minded women coming in and say their intent is to have an abortion, but maybe most women are abortion vulnerable, meaning, they may come in thinking they're going to parent, but when they leave there, they think, I can't afford to have a baby, or, or maybe they don't have the best support system. And so it's just, we try to come alongside them and let them know that everything's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And, that's one of the biggest things that we see when a lot of single mothers, they come to us and they don't have a support system. Right. So it's important to get them connected. And then kind of Samantha, same question. If you'd introduce yourself and your role, and then describe, again, from a medical standpoint, why is it so important to provide those holistic services prior to birth?
So my name is Samantha Cole. I'm the Director for Maternal Child Services here at Mercy Hospital, Fort Smith. And maternal child encompasses labor and delivery, mother-baby, which would be postpartum. We have a level 3A NICU and pediatrics as well. So I'm over like the whole gamut of women's and infants. And to your question about why, so we kind of see them on the after side. And it seems to be an increasing, it's almost a day-to-day thing that we now see moms come in and they are addicted to substances, or they have had no prenatal care. So really it would be great for us to partner with groups like what we have up here today on the front end, because they're scared. Right. They don't want to admit that they've got a drug problem or they've got issues, but for fear of having their children taken away. So, we're kind of on the opposite end, but we'd like to be a little more proactive in working with the community and hopefully addressing some of those issues.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you would mention, I know the Macaulay Clinic
Yes.
as well.
Yes, we've opened up a Macaulay Clinic, and it really is for those moms that have had very little prenatal care or are undergoing some substance issues. And it's ran by one of our APNs, Dabney, and she's wonderful. And it's just a clinic that they can come and get services, prenatal care, even post delivery care.
Yeah. And so, kind of jumping around a little bit because we're gonna go talk to everybody and then come back around. But Jennifer, you also, you work in partnership with WIC, but you're not WIC. So if you would introduce yourself as well and talk about some of the services that WIC and the WIC Plus provide. I think most people are familiar with WIC, but probably not with WIC Plus. And why that is important and what else that you do to serve those women in crisis.
Okay, well, thank you for having me here today. I'm Jennifer Bergen. I work with, the program is called Baby and Me, and it is a partnership with WIC. We're considered WIC Plus. The WIC only clinic there on Phoenix Avenue is where I'm located at. I do work through UA Mid-South, and it's a great program. We've started actually 2 years now. We've started this program. It's not in all the state, but we're growing hopefully, and we have some around the state. What we do is help with moms with WIC. It's a wonderful program. Like you said, everybody really knows women, infant, and children. It's a nutritional supplement program that helps identify the nutritional needs and helps supplement with food, help with breastfeeding, and just really try to support families that come in that are, when they're pregnant all the way up till the baby turns 5 or the children turn 5. So it's a wonderful program. And then we've come along and trying to help also give support, parenting support now through the Baby and Me program. Families are eligible to enroll when they're pregnant. And then we meet once they deliver every month to the baby 6 months old and kind of provide that support. I'm a parent support mentor is my title. So I'm here just I've been a mom. I kind of know what they're kind of going through and trying to help them, give them support. We talk about safety issues and just parenting topics. And then we also provide diapers and wipes then once a month for the babies. And so they kind of help with that physical need that they also need. So we're just there to kind of meet physical and emotional needs, that support, which I'm finding moms really need, and not just moms, families need that support. So
thank you. And that kind of transitions us into Cindy. Speaking of the extra needs that women have and those, that are struggling with addiction, that's at Harbor House. That's the population that you work with. And, in discussions, it can be really difficult for people to sympathize with pregnant women that are struggling with addiction. So what do you wish more people understood about pregnancy? You can introduce yourself and then kind of talk about what you wish more people understood about pregnant women struggling with addiction.
My name is Cindy Stokes. I'm a Chief Compliance Officer at Harbor House. We've been in existence since about 1966. We have 18 behavioral health locations around the state. 7 of those are in the River Valley. And we provide services for males and females that need residential and outpatient behavioral health. We also provide something called a SWS program or Specialized Women's Services program. And this is a program that specifically allows women to come to treatment for substance abuse, for co-occurring issues, and they get to live in treatment, live on site, and bring their children with them to treatment. Not having a place for your children can sometimes keep people from seeking treatment because where's my child going to go? But one of the things that we do see is a stigma that's sometimes attached there with someone who's seeking treatment. One of the things I think we would probably like people to know is that most of our clients have suffered some sort of trauma or they're still in some sort of traumatic situation. That could be based on how they were raised, relationships, the environment. But many of our clients have turned to substances to medicate to zone out from the trauma that they're dealing with. We don't see our clients as being broken. We see them as being stuck in a situation, in an environment where they can't see a way to get out. I've talked to many of the women in our facility, who are 30, 35 years old. And I said, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? And so many of them say, I don't know, because I never thought I'd live past 25. So that's what we're dealing with. It's people who think that they can't do better, that they can't get out of that environment that they're in. And our role is to knock down that stigma and let them know that they are as important, as good as anybody else. And let's work toward getting that successful life that you need and want.
Yeah, it's interesting. I appreciate you pointing out that, there may be stigmas in the community, but these women realize that themselves, and they're struggling with that self-esteem, that concept themselves. And that's why these types of organizations, any place that they can connect, why that's so important. And that's why our partnership is so big, because we need everybody in the community to connect with those in crisis. And so I love hearing all of your stories and getting everybody to meet each other. And so then we're going to switch to Miss Wendy here with Head Start and Early Head Start, which also has a program for pregnant women. And you have seen, at Head Start, they've seen the need for this, but most people probably don't realize that a tradition, someone who's traditionally understood as childcare is providing those services before the child is born. So if you could talk about that a little bit.
My name's Wendy Bradley, and I am the ERC specialist at Head Start Child and Family Services, and our service area is Crawford and Sebastian County. And we are a birth to 5 program. We have Early Head Start, which is the infants and toddlers, and then we have Head Start, which is the preschool. But then we also, under Early Head Start, we have 11 pregnant mom slots. And so Head Start is not just a federal funded preschool that most people, just hear, oh, it's a free preschool, but it's actually a legit birth to 5 program for the whole entire family. We don't just service the child, but we're really big on the family, building goals with them and seeing what their needs are and trying to help them accomplish those goals. For the pregnant mom, I think the biggest thing, and Rosemary, our pregnant mom coordinator, she's here in the back, and her and I have worked together in the office for a long time. And so I think it's so important to connect with the pregnant moms as early in the pregnancy as possible, because as Christy mentioned, a lot of the moms come in and are like, I can't afford to have a baby. We have so many families, not just families in crisis, but low income families, that is one of their biggest challenges that they face. They can't get a job because they can't afford childcare. And if you've recently priced any daycares in the area, it is outrageous. But that is one of the amazing things about Early Head Start is it is completely free. And so you have a mom that comes in the pregnant mom program, and then Rosemary works with that mom and connects with her and builds that rapport and that relationship. What resources do you need? Do we need to get you signed up for WIC, or is that something you've already done? Do we need to get you on the pregnancy Medicaid? We need to get you on some dental insurance to get in and get some dental care. And then, just the education services that are provided. Let's talk about the benefits of breastfeeding. Let's talk about, that you may experience postpartum and what that may look like. And then, there's many other topics that she covers with them, but then whenever the baby is born, our RN on staff and Rosemary will go out to the home within the first 2 weeks, and they do a newborn assessment, but then they're also there evaluating the mom, how are you doing? And they do a depression screening on her. And then when the baby is 6 weeks, the baby automatically transitions into our Early Head Start program, and then they're there until they're 3. Unless the mom chooses to take them somewhere else. Not only is it free, but we offer extended hours. So say this mom is going back to school, or say this mom is working, and she works 7:30 to 4. So she can drop off 30 minutes before she has to be at work and then picks the baby up 30 minutes after she gets off. So that in itself, she's not having to pay for childcare. But then our program also provides the bottles, the formula, the baby food, the diapers, the wipes, anything that baby needs, we provide. The only thing that we ask them to bring is a change of clothes, because we all know accidents happen, especially with infants. And then once that baby turns 3, so early Head Start and Head Start, there's 2 separate programs under our agency. So when that baby gets about 2.5, we start working with that mom to transition that child to the preschool. So they have to apply and, be income eligible to move into Head Start. But it always makes us tickle to death. Like, we want a bell in the office that we can ring when we have a high school teen mom that comes in the pregnant mom program, has their baby, and then that baby's coming to turn 3. Well, now they're out and working and they no longer qualify income wise for our program, which we're allowed, 10% of over income families to sign in. And we give priority to the ones that are in our program, because look how far this mom has come. She came in as a high school student, and now in those 3 years, she's graduated high school, which we feel like, we had a hand in that. And then, she's out working, and now, she's making more money and she doesn't even qualify for our services. But what good are we going to be doing that family if we say you no longer qualify? Let's get you into Head Start so that you have that care until your child goes to kindergarten, and it's still free.
You can probably keep talking.
We also, concentrate so much on the healthy pregnancy. And for that and building that relationship, Rosemary has that same pregnant mom under, her as the family engagement coordinator from pregnant mom into early Head Start until they turn 3. And then we have a separate family engagement coordinator for our Head Start families. But Rosemary builds such a relationship with these moms that even when they move into the preschool, Rosemary is their go-to. Even when they're no longer in our program, they will still contact Rosemary to talk to her. And so, it's not just about establishing the child care and taking that stress off of the mom, but it's also about building that relationship and having that support system. And, the healthy pregnancy is the best way to start the child development.
Yeah. And I'm glad you point out, all of the services up here are either free or there's assistance, right? There's assistance available. So cost does not need to be a barrier for any of the services for any woman to reach out. And I know, from listening to all of you as well, that that a woman's past is also not going to be a barrier to accessing services for any of these. And I'm going to pop back to Christy as well, because you mentioned, and I had known about this before, but we've been talking about pregnant women, and we do, more often work with women, but I'd like for you all to, and you can just jump in, but for you to share about some of the services and ways that you work with their partners as well, because that's really a critical piece. And I know that you all have a program for that. If you would talk a little bit about it.
Yeah. So we do have a men's ministry. We feel like the dad is the first responder. So when the girl is pregnant, who's the first person she tells? She's going to tell the father of the baby. So, and depending on how he responds, that may be what she chooses, whether she's going to choose to parent or she's going to choose to have an abortion. And then, since Roe v. Wade, since 1973, what have we been telling the dad? It's none of your business. It's her body. It's her choice. Well, it's his kid too. So we really are trying to come alongside the men now and just help them, just to let them know they have a choice in it too. They have a role in this pregnancy, in this child's life. So we're trying to come alongside them as well.
And what does that look like? What is when you're working with?
Well, they're slippery little suckers. So we usually get one shot at it, because he may bring her to her first appointment. And so we do have a couple of guys on staff that they're there just 2 days a week. So it's just so happens, if a guy comes in during one of those 2 appointments, then he's going to go out there and grab the guy and try to talk to him. But we also do parenting classes for the guy. So all of our classes are done, or 90% of our classes are done online. So the girls can do it right from their phone. But we also have some parenting classes for the men as well.
Mhm.
So, and we try to reach them spiritually. So we're not just out to, okay, provide them diapers and wipes and things like that, but we want to make the kingdom crowded. So we're out for that too.
Mhm. Yeah. And I know, Jennifer, we've talked about you get men in your parenting classes, and so how does that discussion go? What are you trying to do when you're working with the fathers?
Well, yeah, I try when we first register the families, I try to really encourage all the family members to be a part of this. I know it's been a little bit more difficult now with well, not really, because I'm doing it by Zoom or phone. So I can, I've had them sitting next to each other and able to talk to them. And they used to, my very first client, I was so excited. The husband and wife both showed up, and came in. And so, yeah, I've had several men that have been really active. And I find a lot of the women that I'm talking to, they're working. And so the dads are staying home and taking care of the kids. So they need that parenting support too, because, they may not have that. And so they have questions and need that kind of, someone to turn to and say, what do I do when this happens? Or, is this normal? And so I find that has been this program. I'm trying to, like I say, really, and not just the fathers, but, other family members and stuff that take care, because a lot of, family, grandparents and stuff are taking care of kids now too. And so, and even foster moms and stuff we've had. So we try to just encourage everybody to be a part of, because they're part of raising the babies, and help them along too, because they need that support also. And I find that if they get that support, they can support each other really well. So, but yeah, I've been real excited to have the men involved.
I'm sorry, there's a question.
Oh. Mhm.
Someone asked if there are legal services regarding paternity testing.
That would be, yeah, we don't have anybody from Center for Arkansas Legal Services. They do guardianship with Center for Arkansas Legal Services, but I'm not sure. Yeah, that'd be something I'd have to. Does anybody know the answer to that? That's something I'd have to.
We don't offer that.
Yeah. Something we'd have to look into, I think, is actually those paternity specific issues. That's a good question.
One of the things we first do when a client comes in is we assess, do they have a partner? Because in some situations we have clients that do not have that person, that support system in their lives. Sometimes it is the father, and sometimes he may actually be at our male facility. So we're able to provide parenting, family therapy, family recovery in working that way. And sometimes that partner for that mom may be a significant other. It may be her mom. It may be her sibling. Those may be the closest support system folks for her. We had a client a while back that her partner, in a totally legit, legal, honest way, was her employer, because that was the most sane and secure person she had in her life. So we assess that and then look at what needs there are and how we can bring them into the process.
Yeah, and I appreciate those of you that have pointed out family can look very different when there's a baby coming, and we're looking at what people's support systems are. So we do see grandparents caring for grandkids and a foster family that's hopefully supportive of the bio family. And so, yeah, whoever, I appreciate you saying that, whoever is their partner. And we do see too, most of our clients that are coming to us are single moms. And many of them don't have, like I said, a support system in any capacity. So if you can catch them early, where they have that support system that they can build in, that would be really beneficial. So that's good. And so again, I'll kind of let all of you contribute. But if we think bigger, right? So we've got our community that's building in these supports. You all provide specific services. And so do the people in this room and the people online, and we're here to work together. So what more can we do as a community to care for pregnant women and their partners in order for them and their babies to thrive? If we kind of think big picture, are there specific gaps in services that you've identified, barriers that you encounter regularly? What is your vision for strengthening and preserving families in crisis? And I'll start with.
Well, I've learned a whole bunch just sitting up here because I didn't know a lot of these programs existed. So I can only imagine if I work in this field daily, I can only imagine how a mom that's scared or finding out, or even a young girl that finds out she's pregnant, they probably don't know where to turn. So I think first of all, it's getting the word out that we have these wonderful services in this community, and we're not going to judge you. We're not going to, the last thing we want to do is separate you from your baby. And I think that's their biggest fear. So just give them that confidence to come in and say, hey, I do need help. Can you please help me? And then be able to steer them in those right directions and see them through that pregnancy and to deliver a healthy baby.
Yeah.
I see, talking with families, the need of support and mentoring. This is what I do. I'm a mentor, but, other families, taking other families and being a mentor to help them and give them support if they have questions. Sometimes we get into a government agency that kind of gets scared, and so having someone there just to talk to and give them support. I find a lot of my moms feel isolated, depressed. I just feel like that's a big issue that needs, and where do we turn to for that to help those moms? I mean, we've got some great counseling in this area, but, I feel like, I would like to see more support groups for moms and for families established, where they can kind of go and, talk to other moms, and build those friendships, and help each other kind of get through this thing called life. Sometimes we just need that extra support and help and someone to talk to. And that's what I'm finding talking with my families that, and then like you say, just word of mouth, talking about the different things in the community. Where can I go? I see a big need for car seats. We have a lot that call and say, where can I get a car seat? And I'm not finding a lot that I know of. I may not know, and hopefully somebody can share that with me on where to direct them. But helping find things in the community too, and just getting those, like you said, the word out of what's available.
It's almost like we need, a social worker that we can just send these girls to say, okay, they can tell her whatever her need is, they can plug her in. Whether it's a car seat, you guys. And so it's wonderful. And the community needs to look more like the church, and we need to come alongside them and build them up instead of tearing them down, and that's the thing. And that's why these girls get in that stuck, is because they're facing people usually from the church. And so instead of somebody reaching down and trying to pull them out of the hole, we're judging them and pushing them further down in the hole, when we need to be pulling them out of it.
Yeah.
And just supporting them that way, maybe. I don't know.
And I will mention as well, we also work with Heart to Heart Pregnancy Support Center, and Candace Caputo is the director there. She works with a lot of our families, but she couldn't be here this morning, so I just wanted to give her a mention because her facility does work with a lot of our families as well. And I know we already have overlap with the services service population, right? So if we can, just do a better job of communicating when we, so that's why we're here. And does anybody have anything to add? And then we'll go to questions. Yeah. Anybody questions? Yes. Keely. Yeah.
So Head Start is all over the United States. It just so happens that our agency service area is Crawford and Sebastian. Don't need this.
Sorry.
Mm.
We can hear you just fine.
I am pretty loud.
What's the question?
Okay. So the question was, if we have a family that lives in Oklahoma, but really close to the state line, and it would be very convenient for them to come to the Sebastian County Head Start Fort Smith location. For us, we cannot do that. Head Start is all over the United States. And so every program has their own service area. So they have to have a Crawford or Sebastian County address in order for us to serve them. Now, we could have a family that lives in Van Buren but works in Fort Smith. And so we can, cross over the counties in that area. But for Oklahoma, they have their own programs over there. Yeah. And some of the Head Start program, like I believe there's a Head Start. I'm looking back at Rosemary. I believe there's one in Arcoma. And that might be the Cowboy Head Start in that Roland area. I could definitely look into that and find out exactly what location that is. And every Head Start program looks different. Like we have early Head Start and we require the parents, to be working or going to school, and we work with them on that. And we have the extended hours. Some may have the early Head Start program, but they strictly go 8 to 3. Or some may not have the early Head Start program at all. They may just operate on the preschool. So everyone looks a little bit, we all have the same standards we have to follow, but how our grants are written are a little bit different. No.
You have another question, Keely?
So the question was the best way to refer people to our programs. Was that? So the Macaulay Clinic, we have partnered with, which is our underserved prenatal clinic. We've partnered with the health department in Sebastian County. So we get a lot of referrals from them over there. If you're in need of any type of health care and you're pregnant, there's no referral. You just come on in and we try to take care of you, whether it be through the emergency room. We do have an OBED. It's in its second year now, and it's up in labor and delivery, and it's strictly for pregnancy related issues. We have 24/7 coverage of a board certified obstetrician there. So, and it's ran just like an emergency room, but we're taking that population out of the already overcrowded, long wait times and bringing them up to where they get the right care for their needs. So we do have that as well. But if you're having any type of pregnancy related issues, we really don't have a referral. You just come on in.
And I'd like to piggyback. I've had women that were 32 weeks pregnant and haven't been put on at all, and I'm able to get them the next day.
Yes. So, and Karen stated that she's worked with moms that have been 32 weeks, no prenatal care, and they were able to get them in as well. So really it's just working. Dabney's very wonderful to work with. She's our APN that runs that clinic. Dr. Richey oversees it, and he's wonderful as well.
So that's my question, kind of focuses more on gateway. Could you tell us how long they're able to stay?
The question was about our women's facility, which is Gateway Recovery Center, and how long clients can stay and how many spaces we have. Gateway actually has the main building, which is for traditional treatment. And typically women in that facility will stay 30 to 45 days. Full is around 30 to 32 in our residential program. We don't like to turn people away. So, you know, we've stretched it. We've hit 40 and it was a delight. Let me tell you, you know, but we needed to get them in treatment. We need to get them in our specialized women's services, in which women can bring their children with them to treatment, or they're pregnant, or they're trying to get reunified with their children. That facility is a separate building behind Gateway, and it can hold around 11 to 12 clients. We've also recently opened up a similar residential facility in Hot Springs that has an SWS program, and they can hold around 13 to 14 there.
Yeah. Okay, so the question was, is she had a friend that just moved here from Chicago over the weekend and was in desperate need of diapers, and it was the weekend. So where do you go? That I'm not really sure who's open for diaper services. I don't know the answer to that question.
Earthbound Angels, she said.
No, no, I don't know who they
Okay.
are.
Okay.
No, yeah. Right. Okay. Right. And we're open Monday through Friday. And so if there's someone that's in desperate need of diapers, we're not going to turn them away. So even if they're haven't been signed up for our program, we're going to try to help them by giving them diapers, get them signed up in our programs. So.
Yes.
Two comments, one question. One comment from Judge Black said that back to paternity, that the Office of Child Support Enforcement can refer for DNA testing.
Okay.
So there's paternity. Another comment was Earthbound Angels is open on Saturdays. Another two questions. What if someone only speaks Spanish? And number two, is all the services, are they free to the client? Spanish and
So we do have a Spanish speaking. We have an interpreter that comes in one day a week, and so we try to schedule those ladies that only speak Spanish. I mean, and their partners too, to come in on the day when we have an interpreter. So
we also have an interpreter that we use. So yeah, I have quite a bit of Spanish speaking. And then what was the other question? Oh, free.
Yes.
Yes, our services are free. For WIC, it is income guideline, but mine's not. So you just have to be pregnant or have a baby under a month old to get into my services.
We have bilingual staff in our admin office as well as in our classrooms where we have Spanish speaking families.
We also have Spanish speaking counselors and recovery coaches working with our clients. our program is if a client is eligible for state funding, they can get treatment at no cost. Many of our clients are going to be eligible for that. We also accept insurance in different referral sources. If a client comes in and they do not have insurance, that's one of the things that our staff will do is get them signed up for insurance for future needs that they may have.
At the hospital, we do have on the unit, we do have a few certified interpreters, but we also have a language line that we can also access if we need to, if one of our interpreters are not there. As far as the free services, anybody that comes in, we are going to try to help get them enrolled into Medicaid or some of the different services that they might qualify for.
Yeah, income shouldn't, I mean, not having the money should not be a barrier for any of these services, because I think every agency that's part of what they do is try to help those that don't have other resources. So that's good. Other questions?
Could be for anyone or all. What about adoptive connections are you able to make for those that, you know, I know we talked about this, and maybe they don't see long-term parenting as an option, but need another pathway and know that. You all refer to certain adoption agencies, or how does that process work within your organization?
So the question was on adoption and do we work with adoption agencies? And there are two big adoption agencies within the state, ABBA and Bethany. And there is a local agency that just got their adoption license. And so I'm not sure if they've, okay, yeah. And that was just recent. So that's Aaron Chastain and he's got his. And so probably we will connect our girls with Aaron Chastain in that group for adoption, if they so choose it. It's very difficult. A woman 99% of the time would choose abortion over adoption. So it's hard to wrap your brain around that, but that's just what they'll pick.
Well, we do get moms that come in and that they have decided most of the time when they come into the hospital, they've already worked with an adoption agency and they've already got an adoptive parent. We've even had them come out of from out of state to, you know, they've worked out of state. But if a mom comes in and hasn't made those previous arrangements, a lot of times we start working with the Division of Child and Family Services, and then it goes through that process for them to find the adoptive parents.
All right. Well, oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm curious about the programs for foster parents that's open for them as well for your services. Is that correct? For like Head Start?
For Head Start, any family that has a foster child, or if we have a homeless referral them, they're automatically eligible. We have a waiting list that is done by a point system. And so foster and homeless, you know, families that are in crisis, they go to the top of our waiting list.
One question, real quick, question on, does the individual have to, I know we covered this for Head Start, does the individual have to have a Crawford or Sebastian address to receive your services?
For Mercy, no, we have a, yeah, we have a 13 service county area, which encompasses Arkansas and Oklahoma, and we get even further than that.
If someone is wanting to utilize state funds, they do have to be in one of the 9 counties that we cover with state funds. But if they're on insurance or a different referral source, I mean, we've taken people from all across the state, out of state. It's not usually an issue.
And yeah, for us, it doesn't matter where they live. They don't even need an ID. So we'll take people from anywhere.
For my services, they just have to be really, I do Crawford and Sebastian. I've had some even farther since we've been doing it by Zoom. Now, when we get back opened up, I usually have them come in. So I know that limits when they're far away. I know one time I was talking and she was, you know, all the way to Russellville. So, but unfortunately, we can't do Oklahoma because we are Arkansas funded and it has to be through Arkansas. But like I said, I've done Sebastian and Crawford. And like I said, we do have some Baby and Me programs kind of periodically throughout other counties. I think we have I want to say 7 counties. And then back, I didn't finish answering. For WIC, yes, foster families, they transfer and they can pick up WIC and use WIC. And then for my services, yes, they can have the parenting along with that, with the Baby and Me program, and they can get their diapers and wipes then once a month. So yes, they can enroll. They just have to, the baby's either got to be under a month old. But
And I will say, with enrolling with 100 families, we live so close to Oklahoma, and we get the same. We get people who are wanting to come over from Oklahoma. They do have to have an Arkansas. They have to live in Arkansas, but they don't have to live in one of our service counties, right? So we serve 4 counties. We serve Sebastian, Crawford, White, and Pulaski. And if you're in a neighboring county, if you're not living in one of those counties, then we're happy to do what we can to connect you to services in those other areas too. So just so everybody's aware of that, I do get that question. And I think with that, if you still have questions for these ladies, we really appreciate their time this morning, but now you know their faces. And I'm sure that all of them would be willing to connect with you outside of this meeting. That's part of why we do this, so everybody can get connected. And so again, really appreciate all of you taking time out of your busy schedules this morning to join us. And Karen is ready. She's standing up to do our updates. Yes, I know. Stand. All right, I'll make sure I'm not in front of the. Okay, this is such an important topic because we see so many pregnant moms that are really desperate. I know I've even seen recent conversations that some of our case managers have had, like Jimmy, that we're really dealing with postpartum depression and all of those things. They are even more prevalent right now. And so these services and connections to them are also important. I'm Karen Phillips. I work for Restore Hope. So Restore Hope is the governor's initiative to reduce foster care and reduce incarceration. And so while I work for Restore Hope, and Heather works for United Way of Fort Smith, and Trudy works for Steps, and Alex works for Artist, we are 100 families, all of us. So I know that confuses people a lot of times, like, are you 100 families? Yes. Are you 100? Yes. We are all 100 families because we have pledged to work together to help struggling parents and be able to help them. So this is just a little bit about the Restore Hope model, the contact, connection, career, and how we help people at that point of contact to be assessed in the 13 different assessment areas, and then we connect them to resources, and then try to move those towards career. Is it okay? Am I good? Okay. So 100 Families is community led. And we engage community partners. We make sure you're trained on how to do community, how to connect people to resources, and do it in a collaborative system called Hope. So if you are not aware of those, I know some of you are new to
Ladies, if someone can hear me, we cannot hear Karen on Zoom.
This is just kind of a look from 500 feet or whatever at what 100 Families is, but we want to help you get into the specifics on how we can wrap around services on an individual or pregnant mom that needs our help, or new dad that needs our help, and how we can do that collaboratively. And we have a model to do it. We have the resources to do it within the community. So, I just wanted to show you some data about what's going on and our partnership. Of course, we've talked a little bit about that. Go ahead. And these are our launches. So Sebastian
County, as of May 31st, we had 18 new families enrolled during the month and 128 active families with 279 children. So that's a little bit lower than normal, and that's just because we've had some families graduate from the program, which is amazing and good. And so these are the primary providers, the child welfare case types, and the referral types. So we want to be, we get so much data within our system, and we want to be able to share the key pieces with you every month so that you can know what is going on within the initiative. And you can see the primary provider is those that are providing that direct case management service. So when Christy said, I just need somebody to be able to hold their hand and connect them to resources, that's who that primary provider is. And any of you can be a primary provider. You just have to be trained in how to do that. And we would love for you to be, because we need more primary providers. But the primary providers right now is majority of them are STEPS. Thank you, STEPS, for what you do to connect families to resources. And then, of course, Community Rescue Mission, and Heather is on vacation right now, or she would be here. She's very, very involved. Every single family that comes into the Community Rescue Mission is enrolled in 100 families, and she immediately begins case management. Excellent service there. And then, of course, the Literacy Council, Restore Hope, and others. So child welfare case types, you can see that custodial, no DCFS case is 36%. So that's what we call preventative. 36% of our families don't have a DHS case, but are in crisis. So those are the families we're trying to prevent from having a DHS case. And then we have 15% with protective supportive cases where the children are in the home. 21% are already reunited, and the case is closed, but we continue to work with those families. So these are active families that continue to receive our services and continue to want our services and need them. So that's an added benefit that, a lot of times people are scared, like, okay, after you get them reunited, are you just going to go away? No, we're not going to go away. We want to be involved as long as they need us to be involved. Foster care, so children that are currently in foster care, and we're helping those bio parents as they work towards the reunification goal. That's 19% of our clients right now. And then non-custodial is 7% with no DHS case. And you'll see the referrals. They are, we have great pie graph there of different referrals, but about half of our cases do come from DCFS. Okay, this is always the complicated slide, and this isn't even all 13 assessment areas. So we only give you some of them just so that your eyes don't go crazy. And but the red side is the crisis. So that bright red, it means the family was in crisis, and that dark blue means they're thriving, and the purple is stabilized. So you can see at intake and at outcome, how our families are moving forward on their goals. And so this is something we do every single month. And something that's new is that in the past, we have only given you the 128 or whatever it was, the active families. And now we give you all families, active and inactive, in this chart. I think that's really helpful because sometimes our clients will graduate and we lose their good stuff that they've done in the charts. And so we're excited to be able to include all of that now. And whenever you see the employment, we're trying to get everybody back to work again. That's been a difficulty during COVID. And so 55% at intake were unemployed, and now it's only 41% that were unemployed. Still too high, and we need to get that lower. But we're also moving people towards higher income jobs. And that's what that thriving is. That means that they are not at minimum wage. They have full-time, good benefit jobs. And then the housing one is really interesting. So you'll see that 44% of our families, when they came in, were homeless, and 18% at outcome. So as of May 31st, we're actually homeless. So this is all. This program today has been very, very important to me because I was 17 and pregnant actually, and a lot of people don't know that, but I was, and I remember going into a clinic, and I remember that just bawling my eyes out and thinking my life was over. and I remember the lady across the desk saying, "Babies are wonderful. They're such blessings." She was just such a sweet lady. And she told me that. And I can tell you what, she was right. That baby girl is now, I mean, I've been married for 27 years. And so she's about 27. And she has been a complete blessing. And we just need that. We need people, not only, my story is different because I had support. The moms we're talking about do not have the support I had. We're talking about 43% of our parents have been abused, have suffered, domestic violence. Half of them have no income from any source. A fourth of them are homeless. When so we are talking about families in dire need when they come in to see us, and that crisis is so great that we can't just fix it, with a Band-Aid. We've got to holistically continue to provide the support. So I wanted to show you 38% of families were stable or thriving when they came in to the 100 Families Initiative in the area of food, and we were able to move that to 60%. So that's another way that stable or thriving means not that they're getting food from a food bank every couple of weeks. It's that they have a stable or thriving situation when it comes to food. They are able to get food every single month without. I need to scoot this way. Gotcha. And then 53 of our enrolled families or previously enrolled families have now moved to career. So we said that that's our goal, right? We want 100 families to move to career. Well, we're halfway there. It's taking a while longer. COVID did have some issues, some impact on that, but we are moving forward. Percentage of families in crisis decreased on the transportation realm, and also, as I already mentioned, on the housing realm. We're really making good impacts there. So just wanted to share that data with you and hand it back over to Heather.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always good to get more of that information. Thank you, Karen. You did a great job. I really appreciate that. One of the things that I wanted to point out that's really exciting, because we're getting more and more and more. It's been a busy week. We're getting more and more calls. And one of the things that's really, really exciting to me when you look at those referral sources is the community referrals. These are people who, earlier this week, the Literacy Council had enrolled someone in 100 Families. And then she brought her sister. And then she was talking to some lady on the bus who was struggling to raise her two grandbabies, these two little boys, ages 6 and 4. And she said, "You need to go talk to them." And so those are the kind of people. And then yesterday morning, I was at court with one of our clients. And after she got out of court, and she's doing so well. And we're really proud of her. She's smiling. I know she's proud of her. And she's, the next lady in court behind her, she's like, "You need to talk to these people." And that's what this is about, is that people recognize that we can help. And so they're connecting. These are people that are not connected to resources in other ways, right? They haven't plugged in at all of your service providers yet. And so we're getting them before it really gets worse. And so that's what we want to do is be a part of the community and connect you all to the community. Is Marie Robinson, is she on the Zoom?
She's on Zoom.
Okay, perfect. Can we switch to Marie? I don't know if we'll be able to hear her out here. Marie Robinson is on the Zoom. She wanted to be here this morning, and I'll just explain who she is because you're going to be hearing more from her. So we have started in Sebastian County with Judge Blatt, has started the Safe Babies Court team working with the 0 to 3 program. And Marie Robinson, we're going to try to do a microphone over the computer. She is the county coordinator for for the Safe Babies Court team, and we're going to be partnering on these monthly meetings and lots of other things. So like I said, you'll be hearing from her. So Marie, do you want to just say hi and introduce the program real quick?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh, you try to click the sound on the computer in the corner.
It's a Windows machine. Okay, Marie, I think we can hear you here.
Okay. Well, like Heather said, I am Marie Robinson. I'm the community coordinator for the Safe Babies Court team in Sebastian County. We are just starting out, so we're new through Judge Blatt's court. So just a little bit about Safe Babies. Our target population is children birth to 3 who are in foster care. We focus intensely on driving best practice, removing barriers to racial equity and social justice, empowering parents, making sure they have a voice. Our whole court team works together to promote reunification or other lasting permanency, whichever the route it has to go. We strengthen the protective factors for the family. We build safe, stable, and nurturing early relationships. So we focus a lot on infant mental health and building that bond that trauma tries to break. So we do focus on birth to 3, just because that's the most brain development. And we really try to strengthen those families to where they can come back together and come back from the trauma of being separated and the reason for removal.
Thank you. Technology. All right. So thank you, Marie. Thank you, Judge Blatt. And like I said, you'll be hearing more about that to come. And there's a lot to talk about. I'm going to mention real quick, we normally have our committee meetings once a month. There's 3 committees. We didn't have the one last week, but what we're going to do this month is something a little bit different. The contact, it's 3 C's, so I always have to think. Contact committee meeting normally meets, it would be this coming week on a Wednesday at noon. What we're going to do this time is switched up a little bit. There's so much going on that I want you all to be involved in with childcare and housing and transportation and employment. We're going to combine the 3 committee meetings into one at the Adult Education Center. We're in room 207. So Wednesday at noon, if you can come, there's not going to be a Zoom option for this one, but if you can come in person, that's a really, really good opportunity for us all to gather and share information and come up with some solutions together. So that's what we're going to do for the month of June. I know we're hitting a lot of people's vacations, so we're going to try to just do it that way so we can get as many people together as we can. So if you can come, whether or not you've been involved in the committee meetings, get a hold of me and I'll send you the information via email or whatever works for you. But that's what we're going to do this month for the month of June. And other than that, let's see. Eddie Lee Herndon. I was going to have Eddie Lee mention a couple of things that are important for our families as well. So I'll just give it to you.
Thank you, Heather. Carrie Terry normally handles these projects for us at United Way Fort Smith area, and Carrie's on vacation today, so I'm filling in for Carrie. But I wanted to let you know about a free, fun family event that's coming up on June 18th. We're proud to bring back our annual Touch-A-Truck. This will be our 5th year to have it. If you remember, we were canceled out because of the flood of 2019 and COVID of 2020. So barring frogs and locusts this year, we are on track. It'll be at Van Buren at the high school on Friday the 18th from 10 to 2. We'll have over 50 vehicles there. Some of our agencies that are present, if you're involved with wellness or safety, we would love to have your booth there. You can set up a table. You can bring your tent. It's a fun day. Arvest is one of our sponsors. They're going to be grilling. Alex and his team will be out there with hot dogs and buns and chips and refreshments. somebody else will be. I'm going to drag you in out there. So it's a very fun family event. Please encourage your families to come. And the goal is to promote wellness and safety. And then the children get to climb on the vehicles and honk the horns. And we'll have all of our emergency responders and many others. So flyers for you there. Also, oh, thank you, Heather. Our Dolly Parton Imagination Library is so important. Many of you know about that. United Way of Fort Smith area is the local affiliate. What we're finding with early childhood learning, it's so important. A child that has the lap time with the caregiver where they're read to aloud will have 10,000 words in their vocabulary by the time they turn 5. The statistics also show that a child that is not spoken to or readily allowed to birth to 5 will only have 3,000. So guys, there's so much more to it than just a literacy piece. There's that love hormone, oxytocin, that's shared between a child and the caregiver, and that emotional nourishment. But here's the gist of the program. If you enroll a baby at birth, by their 5th birthday, they'll have 60 books in their library by the time they turn 5. And it's free. It's free to the parent. It's free to anyone. We have the forums. You can go online to unitedwayfortsmith.org, look under community impact initiatives. We would love to have you promote that. We've been blessed with some wonderful donations this year, and we have lots of room to enroll babies. So here's the forms there. And then I guess that's all we have. And I want to thank all of our guests for speaking today and for the wonderful work that you do with our moms and dads and our babies to be. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And you'll notice the theme. I mean, everything that we do is to strengthen and preserve families and give kids and their parents, but give them the best start that we can from the very beginning. So I love this group. I love seeing you all in person. And I love that you're all online, and hopefully I will see you soon. Thank you all for being with us this morning. Next meeting, July 2nd. And you'll be getting more details about that. So have a great Friday.